Remakes, re-releases, and remasters are certainly no stranger to the Legend of Zelda series. In fact, we're coming off the big remaster of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So what's the next Zelda game that deserves that remake/remaster treatment? I'm here to answer that question in this video, and why, right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ryan here from Game Essays. This channel is all about covering some of my favorite game series, including The Legend of Zelda and Pokemon. So for more Zelda content, make sure to both like this video and hit that subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 subscriber milestone. I got some big plans for that. So if you enjoy the content on this channel, please make sure to support it by hitting the subscribe button and liking and leaving a comment to just help out the algorithm. Anyway, getting into today's video. What game, now coming off of Skyward Sword HD, what is the next Zelda game? You know, we know Breath of the Wild 2 is coming down the line, so we're not worried about a new Zelda game coming out. We know that's happening. But as far as remaking or giving us a remaster of an older Zelda game, what's next on the slate? What really needs it the most? And just a quick housekeeping, by remake, I mean something like Link's Awakening from the Switch, where it was basically rebuilt from the ground up. Remaster is more like what we got with Skyward Sword and Wind Waker HD, where they are basically upscaling and making some tweaks here and there, but it's basically the same game that they just kind of polished up. So regardless, what game do I think needs it the most? Ocarina of Time is definitely a game that is near and dear to my heart, and as much as I would love to see an HD version on the Switch, it is not going to be my choice. We did get Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, we got Majora's Mask on the 3DS. Yes, it's not HD, but those are still good versions of the game that I think a lot of new people can come in and play those versions, right? It was now 10 years ago for Ocarina of Time, but like I said, on my priority list, they are not number one. So what is number one for me? It's kind of cheating here because it is actually two games. I would say the Oracle games are my number one pick for Zelda games that do need a remake. Very much in the Link's Awakening style. Now, I'm not saying use the same art style as Link's Awakening or the same engine or whatever, because from what I heard, the engine that was used for Link's Awakening may not have been the best to use because it does have some frame rate issues. But nevertheless, I think it should get a similar treatment. Like I said, not the same art style, do something different, but I would love to see that. Hopefully they don't do two $60 games Pokemon style on us, especially considering how old these games are, and it's not like they are the longest games ever, but the reasons I would love to see the Oracle games are multiple reasons. First and foremost, I don't think a ton of people have played them. I think they're probably among the lesser played Zelda games within the entire catalog. So that's one thing right there, so a lot of people can experience the game. Much like people are experiencing Skyward Sword right now, there's a lot of people that missed out on Skyward Sword because it was at the end of the Wii's life cycle, and a lot of people were kind of over that console by then. And that's kind of a similar thing with the Oracle games. They kind of just got passed over, and I think Game Boy Advance came out at least, a couple years later. These games kind of came out right after Majora's Mask, to my knowledge. So they're not really my favorite Zelda games, I'll be completely honest with you, but after seeing what they did with Link's Awakening, I think one of the biggest issues with the old Game Boy Color games is just the serious lack of buttons. Therefore, you're switching out items all the time, and we saw that Link's Awakening was able to make that a lot less painful. So I would love to see that for the Oracle games. I would like to see how they would handle the two game system. I mean, Nintendo probably will just do two $60 games and, get us by the cojones, if you will, and we just have to suck it up and get them, because I know I will. But I do think these games deserve that polish, that treatment that Link's Awakening got. Having the more buttons there will make it a lot more playable. They could add in some quality of life changes just to make progression a little bit easier in those games, because particularly Oracle of Ages, there's a lot of times I was just, I hit a wall and I had to look at a guide. And I know for Link's Awakening on the Switch, they did polish some things so that it was a little bit easier for people who are not good at the 2D games like myself to progress a little bit better. So those combined could be great. So really, they are just the number one games to pick on my list. Now, I've heard rumors about these games getting remakes, but I'm not a news and rumors guy. I don't plan to be on this channel, and I don't believe it until Nintendo announces it. You know, there were rumors about Skyward Sword HD showing up on like some French Amazon shop or something. And hey, what do you know? It actually did come to be true in the end. But still, a lot of times those rumors are just false. So I'm not gonna say, oh, hey, this is definitely happening. I'm just telling you what I want to see. And if it ends up being true, then that's fantastic. But those are the games that I think should get a remake the most. They're very well made games, have some of the most challenging dungeons in any Zelda game ever, and I think this would be a great opportunity to make them more playable with quality of life upgrades and for so many new people to experience those games. So that's my thoughts on what Zelda game should be remade next. That is Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. But I also want to know what you guys think. Which game do you want to see get the remaster or remake treatment? Do you guys want to see Ocarina of Time on the Switch again? The only ones I'd say are like maybe we don't need to talk about is just Wind Waker and Twilight Princess going to the Switch, because that would just be a port, right? It wouldn't be a remake. It wouldn't be a remaster. We all want it to happen. We all hope it happens. But what are the other games you want to see? Do you want to see, like I said, Ocarina of Time? Do you want to see Link to the Past being, upgraded to 3D models and on the Switch? Let me know in the comments. I love to hear about it. I love to keep that discussion going. But that's it for me for now, and I will see you guys next time.